recording. Hello again. We thought we'd just take the moment to collect our thoughts over what we've just experienced after this Let's Play. So I got these guys in here to get together and answer a couple of questions I've written down, and I might get myself to answer some of them as well. So I best will just go through and explaining a little bit behind the game. I originally got this game after hearing of it from a Let's Play of a couple of Let's Players on YouTube who no longer do them anymore since they moved on to new things or whatever. And my impression of the game was always kind of, I enjoyed it, but it's really, really lackluster in many areas. Like, it's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. Like, if you go into the Steam page, you can actually see it has like a positive reviews. Let's see. I think it's
Really?
like, yeah. Very positive according to my window.
Gosh.
Like 88% of 112 user reviewers from this game is positive.
Oh, bloody hell.
So 88% of 212 people actually thought it was a good game.
And were the descriptions like serious or like
I think they are serious.
I can't imagine anyone making a funny review based on this game.
Okay, I did find one that just says it's lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there are some negatives, and I think if you can look through it, generally when a game, I can look through some of its faults if at the end the overall game is enjoyable. And so that kind of makes it so that I can enjoy games that other people generally wouldn't enjoy. But on the other hand, if I overall don't find the experience really great, I can't really enjoy a game that other people otherwise would think are excellent. Like, you know, massive AAA game titles and such. But anyway, let's go on to the questions. To you two, what is your overall opinion of the game now that you experienced it to its fullest?
You want to go first, Ben?
You can use.
I guess so. It's okay, but it's not for me. That's the thing. I kind of sort of struggled to, personally, at least in my opinion, I'm not, from my perspective, I'm not that interested in the game's story. I'm kind of interested in its gameplay, or if it's just outright silly or whatnot. The Lost Crown is not really the kind of game that appeals to me because it is very serious and very story focused. So that's kind of the worst of both worlds for me. So it wasn't a great experience on my end. I can sort of see why some people would probably like it if they, took it seriously and not tried to mock it for its animations or anything. But yeah, I don't really think there's a lot I can say about it because again, it's not really the kind of game for me.
That's a fair point. Would you like to go now, Fariel?
Yeah. So for me, if I would have to describe it with like one word, it would be boring. I think one problem is when you like follow along with your footage, Svi, is that you are just that you're like passively like consuming it, not like actively playing it. So maybe it's different when you're watching a game like, oh, that's boring, to versus like, let's say, actively playing. So, but for me, it was like, what plot again? What person? I think it actually took me a few parts until I actually remembered the name of the main character, which was insane.
Same here.
And I think sometimes you phase out, and then it's like, ooh, there are like 8 trillion plot points or something. I mean, in the end, it's like, oh, what person, and what do they do? And so, yeah, it's like boring and sometimes feeling lost. So maybe it's also not my thing. That's
yeah, I guess
maybe it's lost because it's also trying to search for the crown.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all got lost.
Tish.
We all lost.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of the format I did. It kind of was kind of hard to follow along the story if you're not actually engaged in it yourself.
And I agree with this was a point I forgot to mention, but I agree with Arf's point about all the multiple sort of story threads, especially considering quite a few of them don't really tie in that much to the main story. I'd say maybe I'm misremembering, but yeah, just all the different. Yeah,
I do think that most of the plots were kind of important to it, but they were kind of loosely placed or all over the place. So we focus
yeah,
on one, then we move to the other, and then move to the other. So it's kind of hard to get everything put together, and it all just felt like a
yeah.
massive mess. It could also just been a way I've gone through the game and show everything off. So yeah, I guess this is one of the games you have to play yourself to enjoy it the most than to watch others play it.
Probably yes.
I
I guess
guess.
that's so. It's kind of like a Minecraft or The Sims in that way.
Yeah, it's like, oh, building blocks boring, but I mean, when you play it yourself, you're like, oh, I build this thing and oh, I go there
Yeah, I
and
suppose
do this.
it's actually is more challenging if you're actually trying to solve everything yourself. But as
Hmm.
I've shown you, some of the puzzles can be a bit extreme, with how you have to go through various places, pick up certain objects, and use them at the correct configuration in order to proceed, just to find out that the thing you've discovered was just past the path you could have taken down all this time.
Oh, you mean it gives you just the illusion of choice,
I don't know, maybe.
and then it goes down this railroad or something?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm reading through reviews of The Lost Crown, and I found one, and it has this one line which I love, and it is, and I quote: "The biggest villain in this regard is the main character Nigel. His stiff deliberately and ability to make you utterly loathe him is uncanny. There are many instances in which it seems the person speaking the line had no idea of the context of said line in the game. It's bad." I got a good laugh at that.
Yeah, Nigel isn't exactly the most brilliant person. I think
I
I
mean,
did.
I think even if all of the technical issues of this game were resolved, like regarding like the awkward animations, the odd sort of delivery of lines and whatnot, I still think I wouldn't really enjoy this game because
Yeah,
in terms of sort of story or events that happens, it just feels like it meanders, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
There's no clear line of progression. It's like, okay, we're gonna do this thing, but let's divert into this thing. Let's divert into this thing. Like, oh, now we're ghost hunting. Oh, now we're searching for the dead cats. Oh, now we're ghost hunting. Yeah,
Nigel stumbling through Saxton.
it
yeah,
essentially is. Like, yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. I actually was about to say something, but I completely forgot again. Damn it. I think I was saying, I swear, I keep having these moments where I was about to say something, then I completely forget, and I just get spotted by it.
Is it about the plot points in the
No,
meandering?
no, no, I don't think I remember. I think I remember now. It's like, I think this game is actually much more enjoyable to make fun of and mock because of all its flaws in our minds.
I kind of disagree with that because due to its length and its serious tone, that the whole sort of mocking it just kind of starts to get stale as well.
I guess, I
Like
suppose so,
because
but
I did have a bit of fun, sort of kind of joking at the beginning, like, oh, local delicacy, etc. But then it just started getting to like serious sort of ghost hunting and whatnot, and I was like, there's nothing really fun to joke about here. This is just getting duller and duller.
yeah, I guess. I mean, I suppose I kind of find it more ridiculous to make fun of, but that's probably because I played it myself and actually gone through it all. So I guess it's more
Yeah,
of something that you could do if you actually play the game yourself instead of witnessing other players play it.
Maybe you got
possibly.
tired more of it and you're like, ugh, I'm done
Yeah,
with
because any
it.
of the puzzles I had to, I'm probably just more me just trying to put my frustration on the game than anything.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Like
I
I,
mean, there were. Sorry, what did you say?
no, no, that's all I really wanted to say. Anyway, let's
Okay.
go to the next part. This is probably going to be a bit of a trouble for you guys. What is your favorite part, or if you don't have a favorite part, your favorite character?
Hmm. I'd say when it comes to favorite part, I'd actually say sort of the end where Nigel's trying to deliver the crown because I actually think that that was the point when the story was getting a bit interesting. But it's only like one uh, little plot on the side that happens at the end, and that's kind of it. Everything else just flatlines, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Uh,
And character, or do you have no opinion?
character, I don't. I'm not sure. I think I spent far too much time mocking characters like the station master and whatnot to focus on their characters.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
hmm. I don't know. Arth, any thoughts while I try and
I mean,
think of
when you're
someone?
talking, are you just talking favorite parts and or characters? Because then I would have said like maybe Mr. Hardacre because he was like, let's say belittling or being arrogant to Nigel, like, oh, Mr. Danvers. It was so over the top and arrogant, and or the one stupid part where he was just looking through the theodolite like face close up. I mean, that was ridiculous. I mean, it's not like major plot points, but it's like, let's say, memorable parts where it's like, oh, that's funny or stupid.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess I would say my favorite part in the game is that part when you're looking for the telescope and Hardacre suddenly comes up because that's I think that's probably the most as far as I recall the most comedic
Yeah.
thing to happen in the game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even then, it was somewhat predictable. Like I was kind of sitting there thinking, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and then it said jump scare in 3, 2, 1. I was like, yep, it's happening.
I think we even made a joke about it, I think.
Yeah, you did make a joke about it
Probably.
early on, and you guessed it right.
Um, maybe now Mr. Hardacre's haunting Nigel anyway, like, no, Mr. Ned Danvers. Like, you can't get rid of him.
Yeah, he's probably
Even
going to
if
haunt
he's
Danvers for the rest of his life now.
Or
I
he's like the arrogant ghost sidekick, like Mr. Danvers.
I do completely agree with Arth about the point of favorite character being Mr. Hardacre. I do agree he is probably the. I think we got the most entertainment out of Hardacre,
Yeah,
especially when it came to mocking. Not all the other characters were just kind of there,
yeah,
really, or just not that interesting to talk about.
I suppose, yeah, again, it's something you have to engage yourself in the game to be able to enjoy. But I have to agree, I
Probably,
think
yeah.
Mr. Hardacre is probably the best one of them. He's arrogant, he's always mocking Nigel, which really isn't a very likable character to begin with, since he's always terrible around people, always talks about the most annoying
right.
things, and keeps passing on a look at delicacy all the time. And just having someone that'll tell him to piss off is just the best thing ever.
It is.
I think my
Yeah.
part is either the part where he says piss off or the part where he just jumps out the theodolite. Okay, this might be also a difficult one for different reasons. What is your least favorite part or character?
Ooh. For me, probably my least favorite parts would actually be the ghost hunting parts because that's really the point when the game was trying to get really serious, and it just kind of those I felt those sequences kind of dragged on a bit. But the problem is that there's so many of them, so there's so many points of ghost hunting that drag on and on and on. And as someone, like I say, as someone who enjoys kind of silly stuff in games and whatnot, and not really the serious sort of stuff, that just kind of that I just couldn't really bear a lot of that. I was just getting bored of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think the ghost hunting is. I do think it's interesting when you actually talk to a ghost, like the little ghost
Yeah,
in the
I think that
museum.
that's probably the most interesting case because that was actually
oh the
someone you were talking to,
oh yeah,
interacting with
that
a
thing.
lot.
Yeah, but every other place you just there's something there. It's moving cups. It's
There's an orb, there's a
Yeah.
glowy thing, there's a
The
glowy
magical
thing,
orbs.
flower,
there's a
go
hidden
away.
object puzzle here. You have to click on the other things for a few seconds, or else you have to do it again, and do it again. And then you have to spend time looking at orbs, finding all of them while they slowly glide across the screen. Anyway, I think I. Okay, what about
Um,
character then? What about character then, Ben?
Oh, hang on, wait. Arth hasn't said his least favorite
oh, I
part of the
thought you
game.
said go. I,
I bet
You
you,
almost got the favorite
I
thing.
thought we were going to go with the same
no,
thing like before. Like we first go part and then character. So we can go with
Oh,
Arthuriel's part if you like to.
okay, so I would have said as a joke, like your least favorite part, like, oh, the game itself, but no, more seriously, maybe I'm not the type for it, but you know all those dialogues where you have to go through. That reminds me of like those older RPGs, let's say Morrowind, and you click on a dialogue option, like let's say talk about the town or an event, and I'm like bored with it. Click, 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 and you have like a million dialogues just to go through with it in advance because I'm not really in a reading mood in those situations.
yeah.
And I think this is the same in this game because it's like this dialogue and this, and then it drags on, and you can't really read up, like let's say in Morrowind, where because they aren't voiced really the characters. I think those long dialogues.
I guess you could
So
say it's kind of worse in this game due to the delivery of the lines being very subpar.
Yeah.
Sorry.
your least favorite character? No, I think.
Yeah, let's go with character. I more or less gave my favorite. I didn't really give my least favorite part, but I guess I can leave it for later. Would you go with character?
For me, the first person that jumps into my head that I kind of didn't really like was the girl that I can't remember her name, but the one that Danvers was trying to introduce to ghost hunting. Because
Lucy.
yeah, Lucy, I don't know, she was just kind of there really, and also her again subpar delivery just kind of made her less interesting in my opinion. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure actually. Oh,
I think personally, I don't know if I have like a least favorite character, because it's either like, oh yeah, that's this character has in, like, let's say a negative trait, like let's say Hardacre being arrogant, but it's funny, and the other people are, I have the impression, often not that memorable. So it's very hard to say like who's least favorite, because usually you only remember, or at least me, like a part that's really stupid, like, oh, that guy or this person over there. So I don't know if I can really answer this thing. So
yeah. Sorry, I've come up with a better answer for mine. That is Nigel Danvers himself. If he didn't get
uh,
wrapped up in all of this, then the story wouldn't have happened, and I probably would have been much more happier.
yeah, and
Uh,
that's what I also thought about. Like, is it Nigel Danvers himself? Because sometimes he isn't that quick to notice something, or it's like, oh no, what
yeah,
have I done?
Yeah, I have to agree. I think Nigel is easily the worst character. Mainly because of all the lines he repeats, all the puzzles to go through because he has to go through it in a specific way.
Hmm.
Like it
he is
like
the
it
root cause of the entire problem.
like especially like the old
Basically,
club church, we have to go through everything in such a needlessly back and forth kind of way to get the ghost kids to pass on. Where you could have done
Oh, that
everything a
thing.
lot faster if you just could break out a sequence, but no, Danvers has to do everything in order because
But
it says so.
is
because the
it
script
because of,
says so.
yeah, is it because of Nigel Danvers? Is he just badly written? So yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
the game is always written. That's
I don't know.
obviously
Maybe
like,
it might be part
yeah.
of the game, but probably because of Danvers, and I think also because the character Danvers is likely based off Jonathan Boakes, from what I hear. So
You
I'm guessing by disliking Danvers, you also dislike the Jonathan Boakes as well, and he was the ones who
uh,
made the game. So I guess I'm sticking with Nigel Danvers.
yeah, I think I don't know. I once posted, because we were talking also in chat about this game, we three. I think I posted like an article where like the game maker was like interviewed how he got into hunting. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there are probably several ones. So maybe it's his own idea how it should be or something, or make something cool.
Anyway, for
Maybe
my
that's true.
least favorite part, it's probably the part we have to go through like the Northfield Church and talk to everybody in there. With the extensive amount of dialogue, I get to talk with the people in the church, and like Mr. Russet and the guy who goes like all things bright and beautiful.
Oh, the guy who forgot Thursday. That's
The
ah.
guy who got
Don't remember
Thursdays.
me. Don't remember me. That's damn.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'd like
Anyway,
to change an early answer I made regarding my answer to my favorite part of the game, because now that I think about it, this is a bit of a dark thing to say, but I think my favorite part actually might have been the scene where Danvers discovers the basement with all the skinned cats, because that was probably the only time where the atmosphere was dark enough that I was actually taking it seriously. Like it was not
Yeah.
funny at all, and I was like, "Oh God, this is genuinely fucked up," and it is. Yeah,
Yeah, because the
that
other
part, that,
parts
that was a
it's like
scene that worked
really
really
very
well.
real. Yeah.
yeah, I was also thinking that one, but that again seemed like kind of like a dark. I do kind of think it's just funny how you think it's the most interesting part considering you, Ben. I need to remember how to
Yeah.
breathe. Sorry.
Don't forget breathing.
Yes, don't forget breathing. Okay, I think we're done in that department then. Let's see. The next one is, from what you experience, what would you have taken with you? I guess it's a bit oddly phrased one, but
2 seconds.
To pass on the local delicacy, no matter the chances. No,
Yeah.
okay. Ooh.
it doesn't have to be a positive thing. It could be anything you think you were happily ever learned about from this game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about this.
I mean, he got all those stupid gadgets that somehow works with like an unrealistically long battery life. So
Yeah.
I guess for me, really, the only honest answer I can give that I could take away from this game is to never play The Lost Crown, because, like I said, it really is not my kind of game.
Yeah. I have to think about it as well, since I didn't really prepare for this myself. What do you think of Ariel? Or is it the same as Ben's?
you mean what I've would have taken like if I were Nigel Danvers? Or
No, what you were more like what you have learned, what you would like to learn from the experience, what you would like to keep remembering from the experience or whatever.
Oh, that. Oh, now. Okay, now I understand.
Sorry, I worded it a bit wrong.
Okay, I thought like you are Nigel Danvers. What would you have taken with you? No. Yeah.
Just leave the town. There, done. End.
Yeah.
I mean, at least there was Heartacre. Otherwise, it's like.
So Heartacre, okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, it really dragged on. I think later on. Maybe it's this.
Okay.
There's not much that. I mean, there's some funny dialogue, like the was it a vicar who forgot the day between Wednesday and Friday?
Yeah, that's
like,
the one
oh,
we meant to talk about earlier.
Yeah, I meant that. So it's usually I probably only remember the funny parts, which were hilarious, but all the other things like this endless dialogue, yeah, that's not what I would like to remember. That's like
what I would have taken from this game. Don't make a let's play of it ever again. It's
Yeah,
especially with other people. You just torture them with it.
That.
And now for one I think we can all have our answer to. What would you wish you could leave behind from your experience?
Ooh.
Besides the game. That's too easy.
Dang!
A second copy of the game. Like,
No,
burn
no.
them all.
A gifted copy of the game.
Get
From
it
that
kicked
one
off
friend on
Steam.
You don't like.
Spook, the Bogues guy. What was the name of the game
Jonathan
maker?
Bogues.
Spook him with like a Heartacre, like Mr. Bogues. Whatever.
Mr. Bogues,
No.
I'm here to haunt you for the rest of your lives.
Not to take away.
Like something you wish you could have forgotten ever.
Oh, okay.
The animation, the never ending plots, his awful walking. Okay, that's also animation.
I'd say for me at least, and this is really my own problem. This wasn't really anything to do with the game, but it was the repeating jokes. Because I won't lie, I did run some jokes to the ground. So the less said about local delicacies, the better.
No.
Well, I think it's mainly because the game itself loves to repeat dialogue at every single point. That is something I wish we could have used to have not bothered with.
I mean, I won't lie. I do remember that I was looking through some of the earlier episodes, and I did notice there was one point when I repeated the joke about one of the journalist character looking like Stanley, and I think, yeah, that stuff like that was kind of my own fault, just kind of forgetting what jokes I had made and just making the same ones. So I think one thing I'd rather forget is just the repeating jokes that I accidentally made. Probably because I was so bored that I forgot about what jokes I had made.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, in that regard, I would have said maybe. Okay, that's a bit kind of complicated, but I wonder if this let's play or let's comment or whatever you would call it would have been better if we were all sitting in a room, because you would notice easier when somebody wants to speak, so we don't talk over each other or something.
Yeah, but getting ourselves together in one room will probably cost a lot more money than anyone has here.
And I don't think all of us would be comfortable using webcams.
No, I don't want to use a webcam. I don't want to do a
Mm.
face cam. That's stupid.
Mhm.
I mean, I can understand once you use face cam if you want to record yourself using virtual reality goggles or whatever, and just show how you're playing them, like the motion you play, motions you do for in the game, and to see how your players do it. But if you want to just stare at a computer screen and record yourself
Yeah.
being bored at the computer screen, I think something's wrong.
Yeah, fair point.
Yes. Anyway, what I would have wished to leave behind, uh, I would say the puzzles. Just the puzzles, just having to go through all the tedious puzzles
Here's a
of getting the.
here's a better suggestion. The hole in your Steam wallet caused by this game.
No, I don't think I regret buying the game. I do enjoy it in some capacity, but I do not enjoy some of the puzzles. I think
Fair
that's
enough.
generally a problem I have with adventure games, with how they always have to have these obnoxious puzzles that stop you on your track and prevent you from progressing because the developers wanted to add some challenge.
Yeah,
I honestly think that like when Telltale made it like choose your own adventure sort of games where you make decisions all the time instead of having to worry about puzzles. I think they were onto something when making the games. They were a lot more enjoyable then.
I agree, but I do feel like with Telltale they kind of went a bit too far to the point where the actual, point and click aspects of their games were just like 2 seconds just walking around an environment, and that was it.
Honestly,
So
I prefer that. I do
that's
like
fair
it.
enough.
I like adventure games for the adventure. I don't like the adventure games for a game aspect. Because I don't enjoy clicking on pixels hoping to find a single fucking object that you need to be able to get the goat to eat the thing, and then so you can get the freaking key you need from the goat to open a door, just to find out there's another door you need to open. So you need to
Uh,
talk with the gypsy and give him a magical charm. But to get the magical charm, you need to talk to the massive giant who'll stomp you on your face if you don't use a sword upwards, not downwards, not leftwards, not rightwards, only upwards, and you get what I'm meaning here.
yeah.
I know what you
I
mean.
mean,
I mean, even
yeah.
as somebody who does like playing games for their gameplay, like especially mechanics focused games, I still feel like this game's puzzles and whatnot were really not so great, especially when it came to pixel hunting. Like you mentioned about how in the like one of the last parts, how there was a bit where you put the crown into a safe, a spirit appears, and then you have to
Uh,
pick up a piece of paper that the
Yeah.
game doesn't indicate
is
you
it
have to.
basically like a one elaborate fetch quest where you go from one place to another? I don't know how much riddle this is, or more like go there, boy, bring it over there, like
Yeah.
some paper boy task.
There was just a lot of sort of aspects of the Lost Crown that just weren't designed very well from the gameplay standpoint, and it is a common pitfall for graphic adventure games and whatnot. But it honestly feels like something that'd be so easy to avoid, but people just keep making these sort of mistakes, and it's
Yeah.
I
really
think it's because of
infuriating.
nostalgia that people like they play the games back then with all their pitfalls and they believe we have to keep all these pitfalls in them or there's not an adventure
Yeah.
game. So if
Because the
anyone
thing
tries to
is,
make an adventure
yeah.
game that doesn't have all these bullshit, people are gonna just go, nope, that's not an adventure games. I deny it. I deny it. I deny
Yeah.
it. And we never get
This,
out of this damn loophole
yeah.
of shitty
Some
It's
adventure
like
games
trying
games.
to
don't
make
age badly.
it's
Some
like
games.
trying to make a sorry, you go ahead, Darth.
Okay, I think what you wanted to say, yeah, is games can age badly. I mean, I played some games like with DOSBox that I remember also playing earlier, and only a few games are like, oh yeah, I would play this again, but others are like really boring or clunky controls, or they drag on, and you probably die of old age, or the heat death of the universe occurs earlier. So yeah, that's probably also a thing like, ooh, just copy this. I mean,
Possibly.
there's also a reason because, let's say, on TV tropes, there's even entry called moon logic because apparently lunacy being crazy is associated with the moon. That's the name origin.
Yeah.
And you have like all those obscure or those weird logic to all those puzzle games, like, ooh, use the monkey paw on the 15th statue on the right to, I don't know, summon the sausage dog or whatever. Yeah, those really confusing puzzles. I mean, this game wasn't that bad. I think it's this always walking around that was the annoying part, and
Yeah, to
remembering all
cut
the
it all
details.
apart, walking around. Anyway, you were mentioning, Ben, about the adventure game thing?
I was literally going to say before I noticed that Arf was talking at the same time as me, and I decided to let him go because I've been interrupting him
Yes, we
far
know.
too
Get on
much
with
during
it.
this series. I was going to say regarding the whole point, as a point of comparison regarding the whole sort of remaking game with its flaws, that's like this is a bit of an odd example, but it's like remaking a stick of butter that was from like the 80s, but you try to incorporate all the rot inside of it as well. Just kind of you're not fixing it. You're just trying to emulate everything about it, bugs and all, and poor design decisions rather than improving on it, which is just not great. It's not great at all.
Just heat it up in the microwave. That will fix it.
Yeah. There's a reason why adventure games died at some point, and they still haven't learned.
I wouldn't say they died, but they definitely fell out in competition against sort of action-oriented games and whatnot that didn't involve ludicrous puzzles.
Yeah. Okay, one final thing. Any last thoughts?
I'll say this: the person who made this, I can't even remember their name
Jonathan
anymore, but
Boakes.
that guy. I have no idea when the next game he's making comes out, but even though I'm not going to play it, I really hope he does at least improve on this game's flaws, at the very least. That's all I can really hope for, really. Not really sure if there's anything else I can say about Lost Crown. I'm just kind of sort of. I'm glad we're done with it. That's all I guess that's all I can say.
That's my same feeling. There were fun parts, but yeah, there were also parts that were like, and I really hope it gets better if it ever gets made.
I could just try check out the other games. I might do so, considering, but I don't know. We still need to wait for Black Rock to release. It's actual proper sequel.
Assuming it ever actually does get released, of course.
When
Yes.
was it first announced? When was it like first like released?
I don't know, probably a couple of years ago. I still remember when the other people I mentioned who were making Let's Plays, they were looking forward to the sequel, but they stopped it before the Black Rock ever was released. And they mentioned like, oh, several times it was supposed to release a long, long time ago, but it hasn't been released at all. There's even a Steam page on there, but it's barely been updated at all. Anyway, what's your last thoughts, Furiel?
I mean, I already said it's like similar to Ben. Like, I couldn't really think of anything better. Like, there were funny parts, but there were many annoying parts. And if we ever make like a Let's Play another one, that it's more actiony or that it's more interesting, not like that you feel like you are aging while watching or playing the game.
Just kind of growing like grey hairs as you watch Nigel Danvers mention delicacies for the 50 billionth time.
No.
My last thoughts?
Pass on a local delicacy counter in the top right corner or something.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Anyway, my last thoughts? Never again.
Yeah.
I agree with that statement.
Delete from Steam library.
I wish.
Well, I mean, it's too late to get a refund.
Way too late, like several years way too late. At least I don't have to play the game ever again. I can just check out my own videos again.
Yeah, I'm so glad about the fact that we won't have to play this again or do this recording for this one game again.
Yeah, that's kind of the benefit to making Let's Plays. You can also check them out yourself. It's just one part you want to check, not play through the entire game again. Especially with how many Let's Players use adding face cam and everything and all that other stuff.
I mean, I guess we should be fine for this game has no replayability value whatsoever.
Yep. And therefore it's going to stay in its hidden option in Steam for all eternity, never to be opened again.
Folder. It should stay wherever it's lost.
The lost pit.
Otherwise it curses your Steam library. You get all the boring recommendations.
I mean, I won't lie, this whole commentary thing, I thought it was a really nice idea, but just the Lost Crown, it's become apparent that was not a great game to start with.
Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and uninstall the game now.
Good.
How many gigabytes did it have, or megabytes?
Good point,
Probably
actually.
like 2 kilobytes.
Ah, start again! No! Stop!
I think the game got
You
Swedish.
can
Yeah,
never
yeah.
beat the Lost
No!
Crown.
It won't stop!
When
It
you
won't stop!
delete the game, you delete yourself in real life.
It won't stop! Help!
I
You
think that's
become a ghost
Help!
in the game.
I think that's
Help!
that's the best thing about this game. It's
Oh,
so
God damn
bad
it.
you just mock it like, oh, this stupid thing. That's the brilliant thing. Like,
Okay,
You
it
can
takes
very
like
rarely take it seriously.
1,396 megabytes on my disk, so probably 1 gigabyte.
yeah, I guess
Oh.
the assets like with
Stop.
Considering it's only like a few models and a bunch of images, I'm
Why
not
the fuck
surprised.
won't Steam stop this damn piece of shit? Okay, activity thing. Where is
destroy
it?
Steam.
Just,
Wintermute engine. Piss
just
off.
open command prompt, delete all, just in an attempt to
Yeah.
kill off Lost Crown once and for all.
Okay,
Even the
uninstalled.
registry files have to go.
Uninstalled. There we go.
Delete the
I-
internet so we can never reinstall it again.
Yeah. Probably
Hidden.
put the Lost Crown to rest. Yeah.
Never again. Never again.
Where it deserves.
Okay, I'm
Me.
ending recording now.